Your brain has decided in 8 seconds whether you will pay attention to my slides, my presentation, or not. It's not your choice. It's your brain who goes ahead and will decide whether, it has already decided whether you will listen to me. What happens, the brain says whether to focus or not to focus. And it's very, very, very fast. It's a decision that's taken seconds. Like I said, maximum 8 seconds. And you will either pay attention or start thinking about something else, something that's nicer for you than just listening to me. What I realized through my research and talking to lots of people is that we spend most of our time on focus. And more, every time more and more people are more and more unfocused. I do some yoga. I have Indian friends, and they say that our brain is like a monkey. It jumps from one thing to another after 2 seconds. After 3 seconds, you go from one idea to another problem, to another opportunity, to another problem. It's just a monkey that you need to try to manage in order to get a bit of peace of mind and focus. This is me. Right now, I'm speaking to you, but I'm also thinking, what should I do in the future? Is this the life I dreamt about? I have some problems with my wife. I hate my boss. I need some holidays. And yesterday I was not even sure what I was going to present here. So what happens is that most people cannot keep focus for more than 4 hours per day. This is just my research. But what you see is that there's quite a lot of highly dispersed people. They can just be focused for maybe 1 hour per day. The average is about 4 hours, and there's very, very few people I know, maybe 2, 3, that are highly focused. And these people are highly successful, and they're highly happy people. These people, when they go to work, they work. They don't think about anything else but work. They're in the meetings, they're working. They're thinking about their work. They finish work, and they forget about work. They do one hobby, and they do it very good. They're passionate about work. They're passionate about one hobby. Often, they're very successful with their relationship. They have a nice family. But I know very few, maybe 2 or 3 people in the world like that. Most of the people I know are between here and the average. You're at work, but you're thinking, what are you going to do this weekend? When are my next holidays? I should do something else with my life. That's most of the people. And the sad thing is that focus is linked to happiness. And I believe that many people are not happy. Even if I teach and I ask people, what do you want in life? And they say, we all want to be happy. 99% their target in life is to be happy, but they're not focused. I will do a little experiment. I have 77 slides. I will give 1 minute for free, even now. I want that you take your BlackBerry. I want that your mind goes out of this room. Check your BlackBerries or your iPhones, your Twitters for 1 minute. Don't look at me. Think about your problems. What are you going to do this weekend? What happened yesterday night? Just go ahead. Come on, huh? It's one of the only cases where you can be in a meeting and you're allowed to. You can call if you want. Okay. Thank you. I think now you're totally unfocused. I think now we have what you call disruption. Your mind should be out of this place. I will show you in a very easy way how can I get your attention back. Okay, it's an experiment that I like to do. A way to focus is if you see something different. If you're already seen that I've never seen this, it sounds interesting. Or a different way of presenting a topic that you've seen so many times. So what I will do is I will introduce myself. I managed to do that before in a different way. And what I notice is that you only not focus, but when you see things different, that makes sense. You learn and you remember. It's very hard to learn and remember. I can guarantee that tomorrow I will be nice and maybe 20% of what you saw in these 2 last days you will remember. Most probably in many conferences you don't remember anything, just the people you met and the business cards you got. The only way you learn something that sticks in your mind if it's different. So what I'm going to do is quickly present myself. My name is Antonio Nieto-Rodriguez. That's me. I was born here in Madrid, Spain, exactly 42 years ago. I lived in Mexico, in Germany, in Italy, in the US, in Holland. I ended up in Belgium. My friends ask me, why did you end up in Belgium? Are you nuts? How is that possible? Yes, I follow a woman. She is from Belgium. We ended up, we're good friends. She's in Spain. I'm in Brussels. Not good. I lived here, not far from the university. I work here, 10-minute walk, quite easy. I never walk, but it's good to know that you could walk. I don't walk because I want to go to the gym after work, and so I have my stuff in the car. I study economics, just pass. I did an MBA, also just pass again. But I ended up teaching. My friends again asked, how can you teach if you just pass? It's just because I love it. I'm passionate about teaching and keynote speaking. That's what I really, really like. So I teach in a few universities. I work, because teaching is not my main profession. I work at Unisys. I work at Pricewaterhouse. We were as a consultant, then we became PricewaterhouseCoopers, and at one point I was fired. They didn't believe in my idea. My topic is about project management and strategy, and the partner says, no, there's no room for you. So I left. I work for Fortis. It's a Dutch, Belgian bank, very small. I was doing M&A for a while. We had one of the biggest mergers in the world of finance. We bought a Dutch bank, which they hated, because the Dutch bank or a Belgian bank buying a Dutch bank is like a Mexican bank buying an American bank. It was really for them, how is this possible? So I spent 1.5 years in Amsterdam, but again, it was a failure. And I'm an expert in projects. So I started to think what's going wrong. Then we were taken over by BNP Paribas. And somehow I ended up in my dream job, which is about selecting projects, managing projects for the whole bank. So luckily, I got that job, and I could work for free. What I like is I like hot yoga. It's called Bikram yoga. That's why I take my stuff in the car. I like to paint. It's me at the back. I like to run in front of the pool. That's me. I like to take some breaks and snorkel. I'm a huge fan of Real Madrid. And then I help a lot in an association very similar to yours, but this is about project management. It's also worthwhile, works with chapters. And when I saw how you work, I recognized a lot of what we do. I have a little linking group with about 4,000 people on execution of strategy. But what I really like, and I'm very passionate as well, is to research and find out why things happen. I got across Lucky some years ago. Lucky is, I read a book which says the 4-hour week, and I said, this is what I want. This guy just works 4 hours per week. So I read it, and the guy was outsourcing part of his life, like you would outsource an IT department to India. So he was outsourcing part of his life. I contacted a couple of companies, and they sent me 2 proposals. They're both in India. One sent me the picture of Lucky, so I had no choice. I chose Lucky. It was a bit more expensive. She helped me a lot to do research for my book. I will not talk about that today, but yeah, it was a big project. what I realized and what I want to talk now and for the last part of my presentation is that many people at work are not focused. And because they're not happy, they're thinking about changing jobs. I call these people little people. So there's green little people who are the focused employees, and they're productive, they're fulfilled, and they're happy. They're happy people. And then there's the red little people, which are unfocused, they're unproductive, they're frustrated, and they're unhappy. If you look at a business, and that's what my core topic is how organizations should become more focused, I realized that on average, this is a company. There's lots of green little people, but there's also lots of red little people. Meaning that at any time, a company, about 50% of the people are unhappy, which is a lot. This is a big loss of money, of time, highly unproductive. And the sad thing is that people are not happy with what they're doing. They're not happy where they are. So I found that very, very, very sad. My company has about 18,000 people. And I was talking to the CEO, and I told him, Max, you know that at any point in time, 9,000 people of your company are not happy. They're not working here. They're thinking on something else. We need to do something. And this is research, and this is the truth. I hope you are what I see here is very focused people, so that's not the case for your companies, but this is reality. What happens is, often if the top of a company is not focused, you still have a few happy people there, green little people, but the majority is red. They don't know what's the priority. They don't know where they should be focusing. They go to work and they do what they can't do. And that's it, and it's pretty sad. It's really unhappy, or I call it unfocused organization. About 80% of the people are not focused. So really, really, really bad companies. And there's more and more because companies switch CEOs very fast. They come with new ideas, they launch new projects. You don't really know where you're going. So it creates massive unfocus in the whole organization. But there's a solution. How do you become focused? And I did quite some research. I found a few companies and a few leaders. I will take just one example here that you will recognize. And I don't know if you know this guy. It's not John Lennon. Who is he? Steve Jobs, exactly. Steve Jobs is one of the examples I realized that this guy was extremely focused. Really, really, people hate him or like him, but he was extremely inspirational. He transformed a lot of things, a lot of the things that you were talking today, he transformed the world. Okay, so I don't know if you know the story about Steve. He founded Apple around 1975, 76 with Steve Wozniak. He hired a CEO some years after, and the CEO fired him in about 1985. So the guy who had set up his company was fired from his own company. He went to build or bought Pixar, which was very successful. And then he also set up Nexus. And afterwards, Nexus was bought by Apple. So in 1996, 97, Steve was back in Apple. He came back and he saw that his company was red, full of red people, was totally unfocused, at the verge of bankruptcy, collapse. And he said, this is my passion. We cannot do this to my company. This is my baby. We need to fix it. So what Steve did when he arrived very quickly is they had about 330 projects running around. Nobody knew which one was priority. They had lots of products, about 40 products. And what he did, Steve, in 1 week, he canceled 300 projects. 300 projects, about 330. So he just left 10% of the projects. He cut so many of the products. So he left 2 laptops, 2 desktops. He was very, very, very focused. So he said we should do few things, but better. What he saw is that people were not organized, and HR people were working in marketing, and IT people working in HR, and just because they felt they should be doing something different. Steve said, you're good in design, you go to design. You're good in sales, you go to sales. If you're good in marketing, you go to marketing. He was putting the people where they were best at. Okay, it's like if you like football, you're the goalkeeper, you're not going to start scoring goals. You go to the goalkeeper. Okay, so he was very, very demanding. And if you're weak, you're out. That's a bit tough way, but this is the way he got focus. He had always very clear the competition. The competition was outside, not within Apple. The competition was outside. IBM, Dell, Google. It was very clear. The whole company, all the employees knew who do we need to beat to succeed. One thing that you will notice is that people are, I'm Spanish, so I leave everything, like the slides for today, I finished them yesterday. So it's just a thing that we're like that. We need urgency to get things done. And he established this biannual conference where he was launching products, one at a time. But products that maybe took 4 or 5 years to develop, they were doing it in 2 years because the urgency. Everybody knew which was next, which product was next. The whole company knew that. So that created a lot of urgency and pressure to the people. Very strategic. And then one thing which I always tell my people, my students, think about excellence. Think about you, your reputation. You should go the extra mile. 80% is not enough. My life is about making slides. Yeah, it's a bit sad, but that's what I do. I want them perfect, and not 100%, even more. Okay, 80% is not good. My slides, when they go to the board, we have about 55 versions of them. Everything has to be perfect. And Apple is the same, exactly. Open the box, and you really love the product already. And finally, one thing which I hate, discipline. Again, the problem of discipline, you need to be focused, you need discipline. And he was very tough on that. And this is how I come to focus. The key is you can apply that to yourself. It's being focused. And I tell you, I like this yoga thing. And my brain, when I leave the office, I see nice weather, and I say, should I go to yoga, which is tough, and I really hate it, or I go to a pub and just have a drink and enjoy my life. Most of the time, my brain chooses to go to the bar. Yes, it's sad, but it's like that, and I'm sure your brain is very much like that. But if I force my brain and say, no, guy, you go to yoga, afterwards, I feel much better. So it's a question of discipline, of training, and going for the tough stuff. I'm almost done. So this is a happy company. This was Apple. I cannot say that everybody was happy at Apple, but they remember, and they were committed, and they really loved that. So, but very few companies are like that. It's a focused company. And just to finish, everybody can be more focused. It's nothing that you're born with focus or not. It's something you can train. Like I said, it requires all these steps. Do a bit less projects, but do them right. Focus on quality. Become the best on whatever you like and you're good at. Become the best. And discipline is very, very important. Put a bit of pressure on yourself, too. And hopefully, we will move up the ladder, all of us. I also was here. I'm not sure where I am now, but I don't think I'm in the green part yet. So that's what I wanted to tell you. Keep focused. Thank you very much.